welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Today we're going to be doing a foundation review and wear test on foundation that's been out for a while, but I have never tried it, which is surprising because it's talked about so much. So I am talking about the L'Oreal 24-Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. And yeah, this is a raved about top foundation for a lot of people, but I have just never gotten around to trying this. So that's what we're gonna be doing today. You're gonna see me applying this foundation to my face, first impressions. I'll also be doing a 4-hour check-in outside so you can see it in the daylight, as well as inserting in some swatches, and then an 8-hour final impressions on this foundation. So if that sounds good to you, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and stick around. I do upload videos twice a week on Sundays and Thursdays. And with all that, let's get started talking about all the details of this foundation. So before we get started talking about this foundation, just want to talk about my skin a little bit. So I do have normal leaning dry skin. A lot of foundations tend to work for me. I'm not super dry or super oily, so I don't have any of those skin concerns. And I prefer a foundation that's more light medium and looks very natural on the skin. I don't really do heavy makeup every day. I'm more looking for just a little bit something extra to just elevate how I feel about myself. So that's kind of just what I look for, but let's talk about this foundation. So this foundation is $15.99 and it comes in 40 shades. I didn't realize it came in 40 shades until I looked today, and that's pretty impressive. I'm happy with that shade range. I got the shade 425, which I think matches pretty well. This is the look that I'm wearing now. And as far as what it says on their website, so it says that it's supposed to give a 24-hour natural finish with buildable coverage, resists transfer, sweat, and remains breathable all day. Color stays true all day, so we'll see that. We'll just kind of see if it oxidizes a little bit. And then for features, it says advanced formula. The formula's 3 oil absorbers resist sweat, water, and transfer. Infused with SPF 25, non-comedogenic, and suitable for all skin types. So that's the foundation we're working with today. This is highly talked about. I still see it talked about today, despite the fact that it came out, I think, almost 4 years ago. So this is one that really stands the true test of time, and I'm excited to give it a go. I've been wanting to try this foundation for such a long time. However, just in my current situation, if you haven't seen any of my other videos, I have traveled quite a bit in the last 4 years specifically. In 2018, I left the US and I was in the Philippines for 2 years. I was in Cyprus for 2 years, and now I'm in France. So just moving around a lot, it's been hard to buy a lot of makeup because everything that I purchase has to fit in a suitcase once I leave. So that's the reason why I just haven't tried this foundation yet. If you also haven't tried this foundation, I would love it if you left me a comment down below so I can feel some solidarity. But we are going to jump into the application portion of this video. Have you zoomed in? All my skincare's on, moisturizer, sunscreen, no primer. I never do primer when doing these foundation wear tests to just make sure that I'm getting an actual feel on the foundation itself. And then let's just get started. So I'm gonna shake this up. Pump it on the back of my hand here. Okay, it's a lot more liquidy than I was expecting. I have the shade 425. There it is on the back of my hand. And I'm gonna use a sponge just because that's my preferred method, even though I'm aware that the sponge is probably gonna soak up most of the product, but that's okay. I have enough foundations to last me. It does smell good. I enjoy the scent. It's not too strong, but it has a little bit of a floral fresh scent. So I do like that. I don't know what I was expecting, but I really was not expecting it to be as liquidy as it was. I was expecting it to just be a lot thicker. Really, really quick to apply. The shade match is pretty good for me. I do self-tan sometimes, but I haven't quite some time now, so this is my natural skin tone. so far, I'm pretty impressed. This was really lightweight. It just went on really quick. I don't feel like I have to keep blending and blending it. It just went on really quickly. It's very lightweight. I mean, it feels a little bit tacky, but since I use my sponge, it's going to be a little bit more tacky because of the water in the sponge. This is what it's looking like. My pores look pretty blurred. They don't look emphasized at all. The only thing I'm not really a fan of is already like the cap is dirty. I don't know if I necessarily like the pump on this. I wish it was a little bit cleaner because it's impossible with how runny this is to not have it just kind of melt down onto the cap. But this is looking really, really nice so far. So I am going to apply the rest of my makeup, just take a closer look with my glasses on, and I will be back to just talk about my first impressions. Rest of my makeup is on. Anything that I'm wearing on my face is always listed in the description box below, but on to this foundation. It looks really nice. It does look very natural. I wish it looked just a little bit more natural. It looks a little bit makeup-y for my preference. So this is a true medium coverage foundation, and I wish it was more of a light medium, but I can't say that my skin doesn't look really great right now. I did powder just a little bit kind of under my eyes to set the concealer and then in my T-zone, but I really didn't use a lot of powder just to set it just a tiny bit. So we're gonna see how this wears, but so far on first impression, I think it looks really nice. It is just a nice natural finish foundation. It's not too dewy, it's not too matte. A lot of the times they say natural, but it's like a natural dewy, a natural matte, not really that just perfect natural finish. And I do consider that to be this. So I can see why so many people talk about this. I'm very interested to see how this looks at the end of the day. So I'm going to leave you here and I will see you all in my 4-hour check-in outside in natural daylight. All right, so it's been about 4 hours now. It's almost 5 o'clock. Here is what the foundation's looking like. And I have to say, it's looking better and better now that kind of my oils have come through. It's really just looking so natural on the skin. I can see why everyone loves this. I didn't expect anything less. And I think my skin looks really nice right now. My pores look pretty blurred. The only thing I would say is online it does say that it has a radiant finish. I don't know if I would say, I think it does have a radiant finish. However, I just want to point out that this foundation is a little bit older. It came out, over 4 years ago. So the definition of radiant is not the same as today. I do think it has a radiant finish, just not as radiant as someone describing a foundation today would say. That's really the only caveat, but my skin looks really nice. It is a medium coverage, so it's a little bit heavier than I would want day to day. However, if I was going into an office, if I was working a job where I was seeing people and I needed a very dependable foundation, I could see this working really, really well. I am going to be inserting in some swatches right about now, and I will see you all in my final check-in. None of the animals wanted to say hello today, so, well, maybe. Eris, do you want to say hi? Do you want to say hi? No? What do you see? You see the goats? Eris is not really feeling camera ready today. So with that, I will see everyone in my final check-in at the 8-hour mark. All right, so I hope those swatches were helpful. It is now the end of the day. It's almost 9:30, so it's been about 8.5 hours that I've been wearing this foundation. And, typically at the end of the night, I'll just kind of use my sponge to blot away the oils because I don't touch up at all throughout the day. And I am gonna do that. Just take my glasses off here. So I'm going to still do that. However, I don't even feel like it's absolutely necessary. I could have gone without it. My oils weren't that out of control where I just felt very oily. I am still impressed by this foundation. I now understand why it's so hyped up online and why it's still talked about. I mean, this really wears well. It doesn't even look like it wore down. A lot of the time you can tell when a foundation wears down, and you strive for it to wear down pretty naturally. Honestly, my face, other than just like my complexion products fading, the foundation has not moved at all. Like, I think that this could go even longer. I mean, I'm assuming that's why it's called the 24-hour fresh wear, but for almost 9 hours, this looks like I just put it on. It, you know, maybe looks a little bit more makeup-y, but it looks fantastic. I see someone loving this foundation who needs a tried and true just foundation to wear out, whether that's to school, to work, or just a dependable place where you're around more people. For me, I don't see a lot of people. I see my boyfriend, I see my dog, I'm on a farm, so I don't necessarily need it for that. There are other foundations that I prefer that just are a little bit more sheer, and that's just a preference thing. But I could absolutely see, if I was still working my retail job, this would probably be the #1 foundation that I would reach for. I had other foundations that I went for a lot. I really liked the It Cosmetics CC cream. That was a really dependable one for me. This absolutely beats this out. It looks so natural, and I'm just blown away by the fact that it looks exactly like my makeup has not moved at all. I can't think of a foundation that looks like that after 9 hours. It's really unbelievable. Like, I mean, I said my complexion products faded, but they still held up a lot better than normal. I can still see blush, and that's unusual for me. I'm very, very happy and just surprised by this. I really didn't go into this review thinking I was going to hate it. I felt like it was talked about highly for a reason. However, I just hadn't tried it. I figured I might as well try it on camera, document it a little bit, and this is a winner. I never really got into L'Oreal's Infallible line, and that might have been part of why I just wasn't in a rush to try this. I do not like the Infallible Matte. I don't like the Infallible Pro Glow. Neither of those worked for me. So this is just, L'Oreal hit it out of the park with this. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna just stop rambling on and on about it. If you haven't tried this, I highly recommend picking it up. I don't think it's too expensive, and it's just a really nice foundation. I think it'll work well for all skin types, and most of all, it's just gonna last you throughout anything. I don't want to keep repeating myself, but my makeup still looks, I mean, it just looks amazing. I can't believe it. But that's where I'm gonna leave you all. Hopefully you found this review helpful. Again, just hit that like button if you like seeing foundation reviews, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye, everyone.